Hey everybody, welcome back to the Joe Rockstar channel. Now if you watched my previous video, then you know that I was headed into the 8th and final round of the Arizona Off-Road State Championship Series in Globe, Arizona with a hip and a thigh injury. Now although the bruising and some of the pain started to fade, I still had trouble walking right the day before the race. But I was pretty confident that once we got started, the adrenaline would kick in and the injury would be no factor. Well, I was kind of right. It wasn't really the pain in my hip or my leg that was giving me trouble. It was something that was going on in my head. So we come to the end of another AMRA race season. My second season racing to be exact. In only my third year of riding dirt bikes, I feel like I've learned a lot from these races. Without the challenges and the competition, I wouldn't have learned as much as I have, nor would I have progressed so quickly. When I look back on where I was just 2 years ago as a rider, it is amazing to me how much of a difference there is in my riding. The drive to compete has forced me to face my fears on the bike and to take on difficult obstacles and challenging terrain that I would never have even tried if I wasn't competing. There's less fear and anxiety when I face a tough challenge on the bike. And the sense of accomplishment is fantastic. If it wasn't for racing, I probably would have never joined a club and realize the potential opportunities a club offers. I might have missed the chance to meet and experience off-road riding to the fullest with so many new and like-minded individuals. I would have remained ignorant to the awesome riding areas around me and the ongoing struggles to keep them open. I would have missed all the tips and technique that comes from a combined experience of so many other riders who have so much to offer a new rider facing the challenges of learning this sport. And I would have never had the chance to meet all the people that I have formed great relationships with. The casual acquaintances that support and genuinely want to see me succeed, and the core group of guys who push me during practice. The people who have become my race family. The same people who would give me the shirt off their back if they thought it would help me make it through the race. And the same ones who cheer my successes but won't hesitate to bust my balls if I screw up, or worse, if I give up. I probably wouldn't have had the privilege of learning how generous people can be. Friends as well as perfect strangers who gave so generously, giving their time, advice, financial support just to keep the channel going. The channel's Patreon supporters, 13 people who have pledged anywhere from $1 a month to $20 just to ensure that I have the means to keep producing these videos. I can never adequately thank them. The friends and colleagues who have loaned me equipment, pitched in, and volunteered to be in my silly skits. The friends who would drive all over the state to show up and operate a camera or a drone for me. And the people who have bought the Joe Rockstar t-shirts and hats. And how about my brother, who asks for nothing but will march through cactus and thorn bushes, sick, hungry, cold or hot, to film the races. Robert over here, he's getting his hiking in. We're on test 2, he hiked all the way down here. Or my wife. Hi, babe. Cheers. Who never wavers her support, even though most weekends she's a dirt bike widow, working hard to make up for my absences. Caring for our home and our family, she still finds the time to help me with every video, to give me inspiration and ideas, to nurse my injuries, and she loves me. I am deeply grateful and I love you. Round 8, the Prison Break Enduro, was a rock-infested, tight, twisty single track that seemed to be sadistically designed to keep me from getting into a rhythm. Every time I thought the track would start to flow for me and I could pick up speed, the course seemed to make an unexpected change, either by abrupt turns or changing terrain conditions.
The thought once came to me like butterflies on a soft wind. Took hold so gently, then suddenly I felt incomplete. Where was the thought in your purpose? Where was my kindness in feeling now? I'm out of so unending and God, it's building up again. I am not invisible. I am not invisible.
The course went from hard pack with marbles on top to silt, from sand to loose rock, all within the blink of an eye. Whenever the course would present me a straightish section where I could get the spurs to the 500, something about the trail made me pause and slow down. For the majority of the race, I thought it had to do with the terrain, but it's clear to me now that I was a little shell-shocked from the incident that caused my injury just 2 weeks earlier. This was my first time on the bike since the crash, and I just couldn't get it together.
Where was the thought in your purpose? Where was my kindness in feeling now? I'm out of so unending and God, it's building up again. I am not invisible. I am not invisible.
Much of the race, I was straddling the line between caution and downright cowardice. And only a handful of times was I really into it and actually racing. I did have a plan going into this one. I thought that if I could just keep up with my friends and fellow racers Chris Bouchard and Tim McGuire, I would be okay. The problem with that is, it left me content with just staying somewhere close behind instead of being aggressive.
sunshine. For tomorrow is the day. Don't go wandering off. Don't go wandering off. Don't go wandering off. Don't go wandering.
The focus, breathe, attack mantra that I used at the ISDE qualifier would have been a better strategy instead of the focus, breathe, and don't get too far behind attitude that I seem to have in this race.
You sing of a life that burned you. The trouble's up, it's calling you back in. You fear all the words unspoken, so the damage can begin. Don't go wandering off. Don't go wandering off. Don't go wandering off. Don't go wandering.
The results in the video never lie. I finished 13th, which should be enough to secure my position in the top 10. However, good enough just ain't good enough for me. The video shows a lack of aggressiveness and focus. I bombed this one and it surely cost me in the final standings.
slam the lock on the door. And I carry the weight I can't let go. And I carry the weight I can't let go. And I carry the weight I can't let go. I've spent so long at other one. Can't even see what I've become. I can't see any way. Facing down the barrel of the gun. Oh, hold on. Oh, hold it. This damn weight. Yeah, it feels like a ton. And I carry the weight I can't let go. And I carry the weight I can't let go.
While I can be happy that I made the top 5, I can't be satisfied with this result. I may have improved, but I know that I can do better. So I will be back again next season to establish myself as a tough competitor in this series. And I won't be taking the summer off either. I intend to train harder than ever, and I will also be gaining race experience by entering a few off-season events. For those of you who stuck with me and watched every video as the season unfolded, thank you. And I want you to know there's more in store for this channel. Stick with me through the off-season as I train and race other events. There will be so much more to come. For my family and friends and Patreon supporters and fans, I can't thank you enough for the support, and I hope that I haven't let you down. And I hope that I can count on your continued support to keep this YouTube channel alive and well. I'd like to thank the Arizona Motorcycle Racing Association, AMRA, as well as the Rockstar Motorcycle Club who put on this event and tried to kill me. Better luck next year, suckers. And I'd also like to thank all of the racers who came out and competed with me in the 40C class. You guys are awesome. And for all you watching, thank you. We'll see you next time.